Gujarati is an Indo-Aryan language native to the West Indian region of Gujarat. It is part of the greater Indo-European language family. Gujarati is descended from Old Gujarati, which is also the ancestor of modern Rajasthani. In India, it is the chief language in the state of Gujarat, as well as an official language in the Union territories of Daman and Diu and Dadra and Nagar Haveli. According to the Central Intelligence Agency, 4.5% of population of India speaks Gujarati, which amounts to 54.6 million speakers in India. There are about 65.5 million speakers of Gujarati worldwide, making it the 26th most spoken native language in the world. Along with Romany and Sindhi, it is among the most Western of Indo-Aryan languages. Gujarati was the first language of Mahatma Gandhi and Vallabhbhai Patel, the Iron Man of India. Other prominent personalities whose first language is always Gujarati include Swami Dayananda Saraswati, Morarji Desai, Narsinh Mehta, Dhirubhai Ambani, Tata, Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi and Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the father of the nation of Pakistan. History. Gujarati is a modern IA language evolved from Sanskrit. The traditional practice is to differentiate the IA languages on the basis of three historical stages: Old IA, Middle IA, New IA, another view accords successive family tree splits, in which Gujarati is assumed to have separated from other IA languages, and four stages: IA languages split into Northern, Eastern, and Western divisions based on the innervate characteristics such as plosives becoming voiced in the Northern and dental and retroflex sibilants merging with the palatal in the Eastern. Western, into Central and Southern. Central, in Gujarati Rajasthani, Western Hindi, and Punjabi Sindhi, on the basis of innovation of auxiliary verbs and postpositions in Gujarati Rajasthani. Gujarati Rajasthani into Gujarati and Rajasthani through development of such characteristics as auxiliary ch and the possessive marker n during the 15th century. The principal changes from Sanskrit are the following: phonological, loss of original phonemic length for vowels, change of consonant clusters to geminate and then to single consonants. Morphological, reduction in the number of compounds, merger of the dual with plural, replacement of case affixes by postpositions, development of periphrastic tense mood constructions. Syntax, split ergativity, more complex agreement system. Gujarati is then customarily divided into the following three historical stages: Old Gujarati, the ancestor of modern Gujarati and Rajasthani, was spoken by the Gujars, who were residing and ruling in Punjab, Rajasthan, central India and various parts of Gujarat at that time. The language was used as literary language as early as 12th century. Texts of this era display characteristic Gujarati features such as direct oblique noun forms, postpositions, and auxiliary verbs. It had three genders as Gujarati does today, and by around the time of 1300 CE a fairly standardized form of this language emerged. While generally known as Old Gujarati, some scholars prefer the name of Old Western Rajasthani, based on the argument that Gujarati and Rajasthani were not yet distinct at the time. Also factoring into this preference was the belief that modern Rajasthani sporadically expressed a neuter gender, based on the incorrect conclusion that the angstrom copyright that came to be pronounced in some areas for masculine o after a nasal consonant was analogous to Gujarati's neuter angstrom copyright. A formal grammar of the precursor to this language was written by Jain monk and eminent scholar Hemachandra Suri in the reign of Solanki king Siddharaj Jayasingh of Anilwara. Major works were written in various genres, for the most part in verse form, such as Raza, predominantly didactic narrative, of which the earliest known as Sha Libadraza Rees Barashiavaraba Habali, Fair Guy, in which springtime is celebrated, of which the earliest is Jinnah Padmasari Saritha Libada. The most famous is the Vasanti Vilazar, of unknown scholarship, which is undeterminedly dated to somewhere in 14th or 15th century, or possibly earlier, Bar-Ramazar, describing natural beauty during each of the 12 months. A Kayana, in which different sections are each in a single meter. Narsinh Mehta is traditionally viewed as the father of modern Gujarati poetry. By virtue of its early age and good editing, An important prose work is the 14th-century commentary of Tarira to the first Aprabha, the Utter the first centaur of Vallabhbhai 3 Ntti. Middle Gujarati, split off from Rajasthani, and developed the phonemes e and e, the auxiliary stem ch, and the possessive marker n. Major phonological changes characteristic of the transition between Old and Middle Gujarati are, I, you develop to e unregistered trademark in open syllables, diphthongs e unregistered trademark I, e unregistered trademark you change to e and e in initial syllables and to e and o elsewhere, e unregistered trademark angstrom copyright develops to e I florin in initial syllables and to angstrom plus or minus in final syllables. These developments would have grammatical consequences. For example, Old Gujarati's instrumental locative singular in I was leveled and eliminated, having become the same as Old Gujarati's nominative accusative singular in e unregistered trademark. Modern Gujarati. A major phonological change was the deletion of final e unregistered trademark s, such that the modern language has consonant-final words. Grammatically, a new plural marker of o developed. In literature, the third quarter of the 19th century saw a series of milestones for Gujarati, which previously had verse as its dominant mode of literary composition. 1840s, personal diary composition. Nityan owned, Dagar Mahartorji. 1851, first essay. Mania Amor Varthai Thartala Bh, Namadashan Kalalshan Kadave, 1866, first novel. Kara to the first Galo, Narsinh Mehta. 1866, first autobiography. Maharahakat, Namadashan Kalalshan Kadave. Demographics and distribution. Of the approximately 46 million speakers of Gujarati in 1997, roughly 45.5 million resided in India, 150,000 in Uganda, 250,000 in Tanzania, 50,000 in Kenya and roughly 100,000 in Karachi, Pakistan, excluding several hundreds of thousands of Mamonas who do not self-identify as Gujarati. There is a certain amount of Mauritian population and a large amount of Ra Copyright Union Island people who are from Gujarati descent, among which some of them still speak Gujarati. A considerable Gujarati-speaking population exists in North America, most particularly in the New York City metropolitan area and in the Greater Toronto area, which have over 100,000 speakers and over 75,000 speakers, respectively, but also throughout the major metropolitan areas of the United States and Canada. According to the 2011 census, Gujarati is the 17th most spoken language in the Greater Toronto area, and the 4th most spoken South Asian language after Urdu, Punjabi and Tamil. The UK has 200,000 speakers, many of them situated in the London area, but also in Birmingham, Manchester, and in Leicester, Coventry, Bradford and the former mill towns within Lancashire. A portion of these numbers consists of East African Gujaratis who, under increasing discrimination and policies of Africanization in their newly independent resident countries, were left with uncertain futures and citizenships. Most, with British passports, settled in the UK. Gujarati is offered as a GCSE subject for students in the UK. Besides being spoken by the Gujarati people, non-Gujarati residents of and migrants to the state of Gujarat also count as speakers, among them the Kutchis, the Parsis, and Hindu Sindhi refugees from Pakistan. A distribution of the geographical area can be found in Linguistic Survey of India by George A. Grierson. Official status: Gujarati is one of the 22 official languages and 14 regional languages of India. It is officially recognized in the state of Gujarat, India. Dialects. The accepted standard dialect is the speech of the area from Baroda to Ahmedabad and north. Ethnologue lists the following dialects: Gamadia, Kakari, Kathiawadi, Kawa, Parsi, Standard Gujarati, Dharamukhi, Major Dialects, in a simplified grammar of the Gujarati language by William Tisdale. Major dialects of Gujarati are mentioned. These are explained below. Hindu Gujarati. Hindu Gujarati, adopted by the government as standard, is taught in schools. Parsi Gujarati, the language is spoken and written by the Zoroastrian Parsis. This differs from ordinary Gujarati in that it admits pure Persian words in considerable numbers, especially in connection with religious matters, besides a host of Arabic and other words taken from the Persian language. Diasporic dialects of Gujarati, words used by the native languages of areas where the Gujarati people have become a diaspora community, such as East Africa which they migrated to, have become loan words in local dialects of Gujarati. Closely related languages. Kutchi, also known as Kuki, is often referred to as a dialect of Gujarati, but most linguists consider it closer to Sindhi. In addition, a mixture between Sindhi, Gujarati, and Kutchi called Memoni is related to Gujarati, albeit distantly. Phonology. Writing system. Similar to other Nagara writing systems, the Gujarati script is in Abugida. It is used to write the Gujarati and Kutchi languages. It is a variant of Devanagari script differentiated by the loss of the characteristic horizontal line running above the letters and by a small number of modifications in the remaining characters. Gujarati and closely related languages, including Kutchi, can be written in the Arabic or Persian scripts. This is traditionally done by many in Gujarat's Kutch district. Vocabulary, categorization and sources. These are the three general categories of words in modern Indo-Aryan, Todbov, Tadbov, and loan words. Tadbov, Aaaa Tadbava, of the nature of that. Gujarati is a modern Indo-Aryan language descended from Sanskrit, and this category pertains exactly to that, words of Sanskritic origin that have demonstratively undergone change over the ages, ending up characteristic of modern Indo-Aryan languages specifically as well as in general. Thus the that in of the nature of that refers to Sanskrit. They tend to be non-technical, everyday, crucial words. Part of the spoken vernacular. Below is a table of a few Gujarati Tadbov words and their Old Indo-Aryan sources. Totsam, Aaaa Tatsama, same as that. While Sanskrit eventually stopped being spoken vernacularly, in that it changed into Middle Indo-Aryan, it was nonetheless standardized and retained as a literary and liturgical language for long after. This category consists of these borrowed words of pure Sanskrit character. They serve to enrich Gujarati and modern Indo-Aryan in its formal, technical, and religious vocabulary. They are recognizable by their Sanskrit inflections and markings. They are thus often treated as a separate grammatical category unto themselves. Many old Totsam words have changed their meanings or have had their meanings adopted for modern times. Aaaa prasa raw to the first means spreading, but now it is used for broadcasting. In addition to this, neologisms, often being calques. An example is telephone, which is Greek for far talk, translated as aaaaadurbhar to the first pound. Though most people just use AAA font and thus Neo-Sanskrit has varying degrees of acceptance. So, while having unique Tadbov sets, modern IA languages have a common, higher Totsam pool. Also, Tatsams and their derived Tadbivs can also coexist in a language. Sometimes of no consequence, Dharmadaram, other times with differences in meaning, with the former holding a higher one. What remains are words of foreign origin, as well as words of local origin that cannot be pegged as belonging to any of the three prior categories. The former consists mainly of Persian, Arabic, and English, with trace elements of Portuguese and Turkish. While the phenomenon of English loanwords is relatively new, Perso-Arabic has a longer history behind it. Both English and Perso-Arabic influences are quite nationwide phenomena, in a way paralleling Totsam as a common vocabulary set or bank. What's more is how, beyond a transposition into general Indo-Aryan, the Perso-Arabic set has also been assimilated in a manner characteristic and relevant to the specific Indo-Aryan language it is being used in, bringing to mind Tadbov. Perso-Arabic, India was ruled for many a century by Persian-speaking Muslims. As a consequence, Indian languages were changed greatly, with the large-scale entry of Persian and its many Arabic loans into the Gujarati lexicon. One fundamental adoption was Persian's conjunction that, k. Also, while Totsam or Sanskrit is etymologically continuous to Gujarati, it is essentially of a different grammar, and that in comparison while Perso-Arabic is etymologically foreign, it has been in certain instances and to varying degrees grammatically indigenized. Owing to centuries of situation and the end of Persian education and power, Perso-Arabic loans are quite unlikely to be thought of or known as loans, and more importantly, these loans have often been Gujaratiized davo, claim, faido, benefit, natajo, result, and hamlo, attack, all carry Gujarati's masculine gender marker. Okar na copyright compartment, has the neuter angstrom copyright. Aside from easy slotting with the auxiliary kava copyright, a few words have made a complete transition of verbification, kaba lva copyright to admit, karadva copyright to buy, karksva copyright to spend, gijava copyright to pass. The last three are definite part and parcel. Below is a table displaying a number of these loans. Currently some of the etymologies are being referenced to an Urdu dictionary, so it should be noted that Gujarati's singular masculine O corresponds to Urdu. Neuter angstrom copyright groups into as Urdu has no neuter gender, and Urdu's Persian Z is not upheld in Gujarati and corresponds to J or JH. In contrast to modern Persian, the pronunciation of these loans into Gujarati and other Indo-Aryan languages, as well as that of Indian recited Persian, seems to be in line with Persian spoken in Afghanistan and Central Asia, perhaps 500 years ago. Lastly, Persian, being part of the Indo-Iranian language family as Sanskrit and Gujarati are, met up in some instances with its cognates. Zoroastrian Persian refugees known as Parsis also speak an accordingly Persianized form of Gujarati. English. With the end of Perso-Arabic inflow, English became the current foreign source of new vocabulary. English had and continues to have a considerable influence over Indian languages. Loan words include new innovations and concepts, first introduced directly through British colonialism, and then streaming in on the basis of continued Anglosphere dominance in the post-colonial period. Besides the category of new ideas is the category of English words that already have Gujarati counterparts which end up replaced or existed alongside with. The major driving force behind this latter category has to be the continuing role of English in modern India as a language of education, prestige, and mobility. In this way, Indian speech can be sprinkled with English words and expressions, even switches to whole sentences. See Hinglish, code switching. In matters of sound, English alveolar consonants map as retroflexes rather than dentals. Two new characters were created in Gujarati to represent English S and S. Levels of Gujaratisation in sound vary. Some words don't go far beyond this basic transpositional rule, and sound much like their English source, while others differ in ways, one of those ways being the carrying of dentals. See Indian English. As English loanwords are a relatively new phenomenon, they adhere to English grammar, as taught some words adhere to Sanskrit. Though that isn't to say that the most basic changes have been underway, many English words are pluralized with Gujarati O over English S. Also, with Gujarati having three genders, genderless English words must take one. Though often inexplicable, gender assignment may follow the same basis as it is expressed in Gujarati, vowel type, and the nature of word meaning. These English forms are often used for those family friends and elders that aren't actually uncles and aunts but are of the age. Portuguese, the smaller foothold the Portuguese had in wider India had linguistic effects. Gujarati took up a number of words, while elsewhere the influence was great enough to the extent that Creole languages came to be. Comparatively, the impact of Portuguese has been greater on coastal languages and their loans tend to be closer to the Portuguese originals. The source dialect of these loans imparts an earlier pronunciation of ch as an affricate instead of the current standard of e foreign. 1 lengthen. 2 common occupational surname. 3 master. Loans into English, Bangalawa Euro, Kulai Euro, Tanka Euro, grammar. Gujarati is a head final, or left branching language. Adjectives precede nouns, direct objects come before verbs, and there are postpositions. The word order of Gujarati is SOV, and there are 3 genders and 2 numbers. There are no definite or indefinite articles. A verb is expressed with its verbal root followed by suffixes marking aspect and agreement in what is called a main form, with a possible preceding auxiliary form derived from to be, marking tense and mood, and also showing agreement. Causatives and passives have morphological basis. Sample text. Gujarati script to Euro, A Euro O Euro A Euro A Euro A Euro, an OEA, A Euro A Shay A Euro A Euro O Euro A Euro A Florin A Euro a Shay A Euro A Euro A Euro A Euro Devanagari script, a currency, AA currency yen euro a currency OEA yen euro yen euro a currency yen a currency yen euro a currency yen euro, a currency OEA currency, yen yen currency yen euro a currency yen a currency shay a currency yen euro a currency, currency yen euro a currency OEA yen euro a currency yen euro a currency a currency yen florin a currency yen euro a currency shay yen a currency OEA yen euro currency a currency yen euro a currency yen a currency yen euro currency 7 a 10 a 10 a 7 9 a 6 yen euro 10 7 9 a 6 yen euro currency yen currency yen euro currency a currency yen a currency yen euro a currency yen a currency yen euro currency a currency yen currency a currency yen euro yen a currency yen euro a currency yen euro yen a currency a yen euro yen euro yen euro a currency yen euro a currency yen euro a currency yen euro a currency currency a currency yen currency yen a currency sh currency yen currency a currency yen currency currency yen a yen currency yen euro yen a currency OEA yen 10 yen euro yen a 7 9 a 6 yen euro currency a yen currency a yen euro a currency yen euro yen currency currency yen euro currency yen euro transliteration a euro Gawan Dha Jar Na Jar Florin part of the first Akara to the first Jag Prausidar to the first Aa Kar Ch Pakagar Ndha Jaya half Florin and Banavruka to the first pound H Na Che Kajara Na I Florin Kor to the first Iar I Florin Na X Jar Florin Par to the first Amar I Florin Tar .14-4-1930 Thar Tar .4-5-1930 Sajanirvo Escarayo Harto Dar to the first Aa Man I Florin Kor to the first Hector to the first Ha April E Angstrom Harakelan Imak Kar Now En Bor to the first Na Law to the first Atentema to the first Ear half Florin the Vejapar Divir Par Barna Var Hartna half Florin the J Tema to the first Edara Saw to the first Anamar to the first Hana Igero Tarif Kar Ch Carver No Pota No Saw to the first Kalbriya to the first Io Var Serain Patra Lorca Ni Jaw to the first of Io Harto Tar .4 Thalmi 1930 Naratna Bavagyar Paka Asthar Ethabriya to the first Is Sakari Temadar Pakar to the first Kara Harta. Transcription a Euro, E degree Celsius Ni D plus or minus I D Angstrom E D Angstrom E plus or minus Angstrom Copyright Pay 1/2 IK Unregistered Trademark E 3/4 A 1/2 I. D Angstrom E unregistered trademark E pay 3/4 E unregistered trademarks ADD plus or minus EAQ DIQ T Angstrom Florin pay unregistered trademark T Angstrom Florin E degree I E degree Celsius Ni D plus or minus ID Angstrom E unregistered trademark II Florin Emban A 3/4 Ishk Florin Niti Angstrom Florin EK degree E unregistered trademark D Angstrom A 3/4 Nay Florin T Angstrom Florin E degree E unregistered trademark E I Jenny Florin Niek D Angstrom E plus or minus Angstrom copyright pay 1/2 IMA Florin TT degree IT Sudi plus or minus Anios K unregistered trademark E 3/4 Jotio EAQ D IMA Florin T Angstrom Florin E degree E unregistered trademark E degree E degree I E 3/4 E Ali Florin E unregistered trademark E 3/4 UK unregistered trademark E 3/4 E Line unregistered trademark Cake None B plus or minus E unregistered trademark Angstrom E Nila unregistered trademark E 1/2 E unregistered trademark T Niti Miq D unregistered trademark II Florin T degree IE Epi D Florin Epi B unregistered trademark Neati E unregistered trademark II Florin T degree ID Angstrom T Miq D plus or minus E unregistered trademark E 3/4 ES E unregistered trademark E 1/2 I Florin ENE my E degree ENE unregistered trademark E degree Celsius unregistered trademark E 3/4 OT unregistered trademark E 3/4 E unregistered trademark F Kitai Angstrom Florin K unregistered trademark E 3/4 NO Poti No Say unregistered trademark Angstrom K unregistered trademark LPB 3/4 EAA Florin E is unregistered trademark E 3/4 EJNE Pay unregistered trademark T 3/4 E unregistered trademark LA unregistered trademark K degree and D Angstrom E unregistered trademark E 1/2 I Florin AIOTO T T degree I mini E 3/4 Etini B a 3/4 EAJP unregistered trademark T Angstrom Florin E degree I East D degree E unregistered trademark E Eti degree I B 3/4 EAA Florin say unregistered trademark E 3/4 Kenny 3/4 ET Ni D plus or minus E unregistered trademark E 3/4 Pay unregistered trademark K unregistered trademark E 1/2 K unregistered trademark E 3/4 TI Simple glossy Euro Gandhiji's Hut Karadi, world-famous Dandi march after Gandhiji here mangoes tree under palm dates Bach's one hut in date 14-4-1930 from date 4-5-1930 until residence done was. Dandi in 6th April it started dance salt law breaks fight he here from speed gave countrywide made was. Here from he Darasanas salts mams towards march doing self's resolve British Viceroy to letter written having notified was. Date 4 from May 1930 S nights 12 struck after this place at from British government his arrest done was. Transliteration and detailed gloss a Euro. Translation a Euro, Gandhiji's Hut Karadi, after the world-famous Dandi march Gandhiji resided here in a date palm bark hut underneath the mango tree, from April 14, 1930 to April 5, 1930. From here he gave speed to and spread countrywide the anti-salt law struggle, started in Dandi on April 6. From here, writing in a letter, he notified the British Viceroy of his resolve of marching towards the salt mounds of Darasana. The British government arrested him at this location, after 12 o'clock on the night of May 4, 1930. Translation Euro, Gandhiji's hut Karadi, here under the mango tree in the hut made of palm leaves. Gandhiji stayed from April 14, 1930 to April 5, 1930 after the world-famous Dandi March. From here he gave impetus to the civil disobedience movement for breaking the SALT Act started on April 6 at Dandi and turned it into a nationwide movement. It was also from this place that he wrote a letter to the British Viceroy expressing his firm resolve to march to the salt works at Darasana. This is the place from where he was arrested by the British government after midnight on May 4, 1930. Influence on other languages, as well as words taken by other languages, Gujarati may have exerted a large influence on Saurashtra, since it is the region of which they are named from and are speculated to have migrated from is a Gujarati-speaking area. Early Sinhala and Haveli speakers may have migrated from Gujarat. This is supported by a Gujarati contribution in their genetics. Gujarati also has similarities to Konkani. References. Bibliography, dictionaries, Belsa, M.B. An Etymological Gujarati English Dictionary. Deshpande, P.G. Gujarati English Dictionary. Ahmedabad, University Granth Nirman Board. Deshpande, P.G. Modern English Gujarati Dictionary. Bombay, Oxford University Press. Deshpande, P.G. in Parnwell, E.C. Oxford Picture Dictionary. English Gujarati. Oxford University Press. Deshpande, P.G. Universal English Gujarati Dictionary. Bombay, Oxford University Press. Mehta, B.N. and Mehta, B.B. The Modern Gujarati English Dictionary. Platts, J.T., A Dictionary of Urdu, Classical Hindi, and English, London, W. H. Allen and Co. Satha, B. Gujarati English Learners Dictionary, Turner, Ralph Lilly, A Comparative Dictionary of the Indo-Aryan Languages, London, Oxford University Press. Grammars, Cardona, George, A Gujarati Reference Grammar, University of Pennsylvania Press. Taylor, G.P., The Student's Gujarati Grammar, New Delhi, Asian Educational Service. Tisdale, W.S., A Simplified Grammar of the Gujarati Language Year. Courses, Dave, Jagdish, Colloquial Gujarati, Routledge, ISBN A0-415-09196-9A. Gujarati Literary Academy UK, Textbooks 1-5, Navabharat Satyamunda Mumbara. Dwyer, Rachel, Teach Yourself Gujarati, London, Hodder and Storr Turner. Lambert, H.M., Gujarati Language Course, Cambridge University Press. Phonology, Dave, T.N., Notes on Gujarati Phonology, Bulletin of the School of Oriental Studies 6, 673 €678, doi, 10.1017 per second 0041977x000931774a. Firth, J.R., Phonetic Observations on Gujarati, Bulletin of the School of Oriental and African Studies 20, 231 €241, doi, 10.1017 per second 0041977x000618002a. Mystery, P.J., Gujarati Phonology, N.K., A.S., Phonologies of Asia and Africa, Winona Lake, Eisenbraunzer. Pandit, P.B., Historical Phonology of Gujarati Vowels, Language 37, 54 €66, doi, 10.2307/411249a. Turner, Ralph Lilly, Gujarati Phonology, Journal of the Royal Asiatic Society, 505 €544a. Turner, Ralph Lilly, Indo-Aryan Nasals in Gujarati, Journal of the Royal Asiatic Society, 1033 €1038a. Overviews, Cardona, George. Satha, Babu, Gujarati, in Cardona, George. Jain, Danish, The Indo-Aryan Languages, Routledge, ISBN A978-0-415-77294-5a. Dalby, Andrew, Gujarati, Dictionary of Languages, the definitive reference to more than 400 languages, New York, Columbia University Press, ISBN A0-231-11568-7A. Mystery, P.J., Gujarati, in Frawley, William, International Encyclopedia of Linguistics 2, Oxford, Oxford University Press. Mystery, P.J., Gujarati, in Gary, Jane. Rubino, Carl, An Encyclopedia of the World's Major Languages, Past and Present, New England Publishing Associates. Old Gujarati, Bender, E. The Salabhadradana Character, a work in Old Gujarati critically edited and translated, with a grammatical analysis and glossary. American Oriental Society, New Haven, Con. ISBN 0-940490-73-0, Brown, W.N., An Old Gujarati Text of the Kalaka Story, Journal of the American Oriental Society 58, 5 €29, doi, 10.2307/594192a. Dave, T.N. A Study of the Gujarati Language in the XVTH Century. The Royal Asiatic Society. ISBN 0-947593-30-6, Tessitary, L.P. Notes on the Grammar of Old Western Rajasthani. Indian Antiquary. 43-45. Other, Gajendra Gadkar, S.N., Parsi Gujarati, Bombay, University of Bombay. Massacre, Colin, The Indo-Aryan Languages, Cambridge, Cambridge University Press, ISBN A978-0-521-29944-2a. Mystery, P.J., Gujarati Writing, in Daniels. Bright, The World's Writing Systems, Oxford University Press. External links, Gujarati Online Dictionary and Language Resources, UCLA Language Materials Project, Gujarati, Gujarati Dictionary, Bharatiya Bhasha Jyoti, Gujarati a textbook for learning Gujarati through Hindi from the Central Institute of Indian Languages.